Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton. Have you ever wondered how pearls develop, how they're made? When I look at a pearl, I think about God and people. There's just something about how a pearl develops, and it's a miracle, really it is. So, how does a pearl develop? Well, usually it is because an irritant, some sort of foreign body, a particle of something that isn't natural to the pearl, enters into the actual oyster or mollusk, and it lodges in the soft flesh of that mollusk or oyster. And that's where the irritation process begins. And so as a defense mechanism or a coping mechanism, for want of a better word, the actual oyster or mollusk begins layering that irritant, that particle, that foreign body with layers of nacre. And it keeps formulating those layers over and over again over and isolating that irritant. And eventually, the oyster or the mollusk is either found in a natural environment or it's a harvested one, and then they open the mollusk, the oyster, and there inside is the developed pearl. Just magnificent. And each pearl is different. They are different shapes, different sizes, different colours, some of which depends on the environment or what ocean they developed in, or whether they were a freshwater pearl. So they all adapt to their environment and so produce a certain type of pearl. And you know, every pearl, every real pearl this is, whether it be cultured or natural, they have what we call a little blemish or a little birthmark that God has placed on them. And sometimes that is very visible by the naked eye, and other times you will need a high-powered magnifying glass or a proper jeweler's lens to actually even see that little blemish. And incidentally, that's how you know a pearl is genuine. There'll be a little blemish on it somewhere. So after this pearl is removed, you're able to grasp that individual, beautiful work of nature in a way, but it is really God's providence that produces that wonderful pearl. And you will get, I'm just going to show you a couple of examples here. I hope you can see them. This is a Baroque Pearl, and I'll just get in focus. And look at it, isn't it gorgeous? It almost looks like a little rabbit or a koala bear, something like that. So how beautiful is that, the luster? You can't reproduce that with human hands. And then you might have one that's shapen like this. That's different again. It's actually got quite visible little birthmarks on it. If I hold it close, you might be able to see all the little marks on it. And you know, sometimes they look like little faces or animals, and I think to myself, God has a sense of humour in some ways. He always puts something in our life each day to make us smile, even on a precious pearl. So these beautiful iridescent works of nature, they become a precious piece of jewellery. They've been admired for centuries. There's been famous pearls that have been, you know, the biggest or the shiniest or the most irregular shaped, and the list goes on. So the point I want to make is that how our lives develop is somehow parallel in some ways to how a beautiful pearl develops. So there's some other types of pearls as well. I'll just give you an example. You have what we call blister pearls. See, there's a pearl developing in there inside the shell, but it's not developed properly. But isn't it gorgeous? And then we have the more distinct blister pearl. See? And look, it's got its little birthmark. You can see it there. See? God's little birthmark. And then we get to the more magnificent ones that you can see many foreign bodies or irritants got into this. And that's what was found. Beautiful, isn't it? So every now and then we have to realign ourselves with the beauty of nature, how things develop, and remember that God's hand is involved in all of this. And it can be when we finally have all of these beautiful pearls, some of them similar sizes, some of them different colours, different lengths. We get a collection of pearls that are equal in colour and size, and then they become quite expensive to match all those things. We can string different colours together, and these are probably some of my favourites. These are golden pearls. These are from Broome in Australia, and I always name my strings of pearls. They're either commemorating something or remembering an occasion, but I love these because I call these my Noahide Pearls. They're golden pearls from Broome in Australia, and I look at those and I think of our beautiful Noahides. They tell me a story and remind me. And every time I wear pearls, which you've probably noticed I do often, I think continuously about the beauty of God's creation and how we resemble a pearl in many ways. So why do we? What is it about people and pearls that resonate with me? Well, during our lifetime, nothing ever goes smoothly. Sometimes something comes into our life. It might be a mild irritant or an annoyance, or it can be the other extreme and be a dreadful tragedy, awful circumstances that bring upon sadness. But all of these circumstances that happen serve to build our character and our nature and our beauty and how we deal with things. So we grow through these irritants, and we, like the pearls, the nacre or the layer of life experiences, it shapes our heart and our mind and our soul. It makes us think, realign ourselves. And so that layering, each layer of that life experience or that nacre of life, we gain something, we develop. And so we are part of God's continuous creation, just like the pearl. We keep getting better, we develop, we overcome obstacles, we are able to reflect on our life experiences in the past, and it helps us deal with the ones in the present. So we eventually develop our mind and our body, but particularly our soul, develops into this spectacular, iridescent spectrum of God's continuous creation and His divine providence. So I want you to remember that you're one of God's pearls, and all those nacres of life experience are refining you and making you into a glorious jewel that God loves. And like a pearl, each one of us are individual. No two pearls are exactly the same, even the ones that look perfectly matched. And so too, no human being is the same as another. Do you know, even identical twins have little differences that make them individuals. so you are God's special pearl. Stay tuned for part 2 next week. And remember our website. Please remember to subscribe, press the like button, ask questions, and most of all, keep shining. You're a precious pearl. Bye.